What time is it, boys and girls?
Totally outrageous!
Totally outrageous.
Hello, Weirdos! I'm Darren Marlar, and all this week you're getting a free preview of this new podcast, Totally Outrageous. But starting next week, only official Weirdos will receive it. Become an official Weirdo today at WeirdDarkness.com. Now, get ready to get your dander up and shake your head at humankind, because the stories I'm about to share are totally outrageous. Lori Loughlin's scandal-plagued daughter, Olivia Jade, is in jeopardy of losing out on beauty trademarks because, among other reasons, a reported misuse of punctuation, according to documents obtained by The Blast. Applications for Olivia Jade Beauty and Olivia Jade, they were all sent back to the YouTube beauty influencer because the language regarding her makeup kits with moisturizer and concealer is said to be too broad for the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Also, there were punctuation errors according to The Blast. Proper punctuation in identifications is necessary to delineate explicitly each product or service within a list and to avoid ambiguity, according to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, with officials also noting commas, semicolons, and apostrophes are the only punctuation that should be used. Well, no wonder her mom had to bribe people to get her into college. Olivia has no English skills. Natalie Portman was caught in the middle of a scary situation at her Los Angeles home after a man that she had previously been granted protection against showed up outside her property. Law enforcement sources say Portman saw the man, who thinks he is John Wick from the movies. She saw him around 3:30 Tuesday afternoon just outside her home. We're told that she immediately called cops and left the premises. Police showed up within minutes and arrested the man for violating a restraining order the actress had against him. Sources say it was January 31, 2019 when the man showed up at Natalie Portman's home and tried to gain access onto the property. During that encounter, cops were called and he was placed on a psychiatric hold. Well, yeah, he thinks he's John Wick, so yeah, psychiatric hold probably is a good idea. In Boynton Beach, Florida, 40-year-old Mikkel Danker was arrested after attacking his own mother because apparently she refused to dress his mannequin. He felt her non-compliance with his wishes was deserving of a beating with a kitchen stool, and then he proceeded to shove dumplings into her mouth, according to sheriff's deputies. Danker now faces charges of aggravated battery on a victim 65 or older and domestic battery by strangulation. According to a Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office probable cause affidavit, Danker and his mother were in their backyard when he asked her to dress his mannequin. After she refused to do so, Danker stood in the doorway, blocking her from getting back inside the house, so she pushed the mannequin to the ground. As Danker moved to pick up the mannequin, his mother ran inside, but then Danker followed her into the kitchen and pushed her to the floor. Danker then picked up a small stool on the kitchen floor and struck her several times in the head with it, then grabbed small dumplings made for dinner and started to shove them into her mouth. After his mother said she couldn't breathe, Danker stepped away from her and began throwing items around the kitchen, including a ceramic cup that shattered on the kitchen counter. A neighbor heard Danker's mother screaming for help as she ran out of the house and called 911. He was taken to jail, she was taken to a hospital, and Mother's Day is going to be awkward. Hey, if you're going to make a late-night booty call, at least have the common courtesy to take your shoes off. In Peoria, Illinois, officers responded to a complaint of loud arguing inside a house, and just as they arrived, a man and a woman burst out the front door yelling hysterically. Officers separated the two, then questioned them, along with another man and woman inside the residence. Turns out one of the women lives there while her family friend was visiting from out of town. The two men live in Peoria and they dropped by for a visit. One told police that he messes around with the home's resident while his friend was supposed to hook up with the other woman. However, the fun-filled evening turned sour after the homeowner asked the boys to remove their shoes. One of the men said he wanted to keep his shoes on because there was no carpeting in the house. Somehow, this escalated into a full-blown argument with yelling and screaming. The women said that one of the men then dropped his phone, but the man said the resident whacked it out of his hand. When the phone hit the floor, the screen cracked, and the man demanded $50 for repairs. The women told police that the phone dropper began to tear up the house, including pulling a TV off a wall mount. However, the men say the resident was the one who tore up the house before she pulled out a knife and made threats. Well, because of so many conflicting stories, officers could not determine any probable cause for any arrest. But I will say that if you are planning a late-night booty call, at least be willing to take off your Nikes. In Michigan, a 64-year-old woman who was wary of taking prescription statins to lower her cholesterol took red yeast rice supplements instead and ended up with acute liver damage. After 6 weeks of using the over-the-counter supplements which contain the same chemical that statins use to reduce cholesterol, monocolin K, the woman was hospitalized after developing a number of symptoms including jaundice. Tests showed a drug-induced liver injury, which doctors determined was likely caused by the supplements. The problem? Well, supplements aren't regulated by the FDA, so you never know how much of the active component you're taking. As researchers explain, it doesn't matter whether monocolin K is derived synthetically, as it is for statins, or naturally, as it is for red yeast rice supplements which contain a mix of fermented steamed rice and food fungus, but too much of it can hurt the liver, and the concentration used in supplements is not measured or regulated and can vary widely, as tests have shown. I'm confused on this. There are more advancements in modern medicine today than ever before, so why are we suddenly deciding to ignore them? Do you remember Corinne McGovney-Tyrone? Well, she is the racist woman from New Haven, Connecticut who found herself public enemy number 1 after a video went viral showing her yelling racial epithets at a pair of black shoppers at a ShopRite store. McGovney-Tyrone, who was white, was filmed calling the black customers the N-word multiple times as she shopped with 2 young children. Surveillance video from the store and the outside parking lot, as well as audio recordings of her angry calls to police, were released last week. Well, not only did she promptly lose her job with Hamden Public Schools, now her home has been burglarized and stripped of much of its copper piping, leaving a lot of damage to the ceiling and a wall. Police are investigating. Officer Karma, back on the job. Up in Edmonton, Canada, a group of elderly women armed with nothing more than walking canes successfully fought off a mugger and protected their parish priest from an unprovoked assault. Father Marcin Moronik had just finished leading the evening Mass at Our Lady Queen of Poland when he was approached by a young man that he didn't recognize. Within seconds, the stranger threw Moronik to the ground and began choking him. As the priest struggled to breathe, parishioners responded with the only weapons they had at their disposal, their walking canes. After several blows from the canes, the suspect released the priest and ran off. Lorraine Turkansky, a spokesperson for the Catholic Archdiocese of Edmonton, said perhaps if they'd been younger, they would have had their cell phones out and would have been calling 911, but that wasn't the case here. Police described the suspect as a white male, 5'9", about 25 years old. He also smelled of liquor. So as Dana Carvey taught us a long time ago, don't mess with church ladies. Come back every weekday for more Totally Outrageous, only for official weirdos. And thank you for being an official weirdo. Not official yet? You can become an official weirdo for as little as $5 a month. Learn more at WeirdDarkness.com or DailyDoseOfWeirdNews.com. And I'll see you next time, Weirdos.